Yemo bibia kwaba na yemfa mbra mega TV and platform we eso. Abusia for Ivan Kyei Innocent one Solomon Owusu. Two brilliant political analysts. In fact, two brilliant personalities I me feel you mo pa politics. Anytime be a metis or more casabiano. Mintimin skipe. Na see me tie na me nso me di ebe some more yem platform we eso. Na busuya ni na efa endra yeti say yewra kisi Jabin OSP o invite lawyer Martin Kpebu so ombra na ombe assistant for investigation ewi achi na chese wa ko detain no ewo hono few hours later NAT say we release no abusuya eno na sparky controversies social media and our political enclave this nkomodidi abase isi den ena OSP etimi editeni lawyer Martin Kpebu wombre ko a onya involve himself in any corrupt activity and say any corruption activities bia na ebasa ade a na chese wanya ade afem so nyenim se ora team no Martin Kpebu eka ho enti ade enti a otimi yesa yenti ensema Ivan Kyei Innocent oche na adwe isify ena wasi enkorayo mu feli and so suggest some solutions be any reasons why emo efeli sounds no Solomon Owusu and so I dive into it abusiafo enkomodidie no dodo enchini ennim sabi esichire ennim but de papa de mesro se obenya abotare na watujo ho ye kwakoti we ensema na oni ye titi ewo CTV Ghana enkomo eso abusiafo mesro so besikire wadwen comment section ni bra conversation ekoso na wa like dwumdi na wa share na foro etimi enye biahwe yenti ensani bi yekoba yeto so edi amon
now we say legitimate questions and now will be said because one say president and I say honorable to force now so 2026 budget we say on the start Accra Kumasi Express Road na kwai no Kumasi kwai mo dualization 67 physically complete. Although some me who say 67 physically complete because and you know what the no na 67 na say emu de he but no president echire mu say sa kwan no mo ye no enya de omo ba be abandon sa kwan no maka so mo be express road no ye different from dualization na say na no kra no metwa wa mu minister aba be roads na yimu a na wonim the difference between express road ne dualization once na me catch us say dualization na ye ka no sa kwan no enam krom ya wase kra be speed ramps wo so na ka nkobobon krofo express road no wonim say express road ye ntwam wo ho bayat enti eno driver so ano na wo kwa enya afa na okwa jump speed ramps bia enti dualization na wo ka no eye different from express road na president Mahama ka na eno president e make it clear say express road no e wo ho enti wo mo pese wo use express road no mo kontem no o ma mefa amasa man poku ase nkofo nse wo mkofo anyinam wo be fa wa na chese bia udu kwa so abesi anadu kwa so abegina na mo express road no de wo pentem a ene 2.5 hours no akofa ho nti honorable say so gwache I hope say you are clear let na akwachiro ma president say wo legitimate question na express road no a waste of resources no ye kwan ama ye ya wo say a waste of resources anyway I think the explanation is clear to you now. And see, and one no. Ivan, good morning.
Good morning, yeah.
Bakwadie.
Oh, nyame.
Ye share ya check akra. Aye. Na no na me church mu de ntia. Last week ya mad because last week no confirm bo me so bo na messages amenya wo me phone so de na enya asem ketoa. Ma chirem na emfidie na wo se yakopem no be sha nan because e bi wo wa wo mia akra afede na emia biem. Tina hu hiase ye tomo no mono no so ye to wi a wo say ye take time na ye keka ti ani ne ye hyehye nti wadaroma momfa enche ye mu ana mo bisa no ta cho ma chire mu Ebeneza Mokto afede wakoma to wiem ane all right na to say
oh, I think so.
Weekend na besi me.
Yeah, so far so good and a lot of activities and happen. I think there's a two when you hear Kroma from what's the resolve to a whole lot of issues so I think we're just following keenly, but the most important thing is the economy keeps getting better, and I think with the recent figure with regards to inflation it give you a certain picture skill description of how well our economy now can position, because one thing about inflation is our direct linkage with what is happening. Because the rise in prices, goods and services. So the very moment you hear inflation is coming down, automatically it means that the rate at which a stabilize it and shut out any ways. And for me, I think that affect average and ordinary. The consequential impact in a very overwhelming, and I think you bet me I hope things will get better. The stability of the city is another key thing, and again on top of it, the massive widening in terms of your debt to your GDP. Clearly shows the economy is gradually coming back to life after years of your friends bruises and near my firm. I think. Ghana Nibia or baby when things are getting better, your job is to just support and guarantee, because at the end of the day, and for me, I think that is positive.
All right. Just here free and run nearby one near free petitions are abba for the removal of the OSP electoral commissioner. Minority says Kwabana sa na say yem pese ebe to corruption ase ade sa ya na yete say OSP na mukra so one Martin Kpebu issue wa detaining no yen komra say afede we releasing on some say prekese so yen ka that to aspect no embom.
Okay, yeah, I think there be a say democracy anywhere the foundational way institutions. So in any your friends saying democracy be a grow and mature to a certain level, you get in and you realize institutions have a great foothold in, because and then the pillars your friends have beneath the establishment and answer the democratic whole process, So anywhere over sense weak institutions, it means that democracy there is fragile, just hanging on, and or break down any point in time. That is why I always have been advocating say it is very important for us to build strong institutions instead of building strong men who will be operating at the behest of their personal emotions or whatever. And the institutions everywhere. In that regard, these institutions will be very effective and they will help us to streamline and also help us fight some of the cankers are very often popping up like corruption. And then as a forum. So with regards to petitioner Obia submitted seeking the removal of Kyei the office of the special prosecutor Nipan Orda and the EC boss, I think they are in line with democratic practices. Because we are not living in a country where the president will wake up a day and say Mapamu Kofi. No. The constitution will not allow the president to do that. And the framers of the constitution thought it wise such situations will definitely arise, because with the 2 million power they can go overboard, overdrive, and some of these windows have been created. The citizens will also have the right to exploit this avenue that has been created to inquire whether it is possible to remove these people based on and yet a series of such happenings. My men started from Kyei. I think my culture of my position on the office of the special prosecutor it was a useless, because the intent and the purposes for its establishment, it wasn't about fighting corruption. Because my culture says in any serious democratic dispensation, if you want to fight corruption, you don't need to set up many offices. It is about the political will and the commitment on the part of the power holders. We are willing to ensure we will crack the whip and allow institutions to work. So the very often you see multiplicity of institutions with your friends overlapping responsibilities coming in, then it shows we are just communicating to the people out there, we are doing something, but in reality we are doing nothing. So the special prosecutor President Akufo-Addo set up received that idea, then they had a right candidate to be used to execute that agenda. Because at the time the NDC has exited power in Ghana, no, they needed to, go after people who had in the previous administration done A, B, C, D. So their choice at the time was Martin Abidu, who was very bitter and very angry, and they thought said they could tap into his anger, his venom, and use him against certain individuals. But Martin Abidu proves that, no, even though he was angry, but he's a man of conviction and will not allow himself to be used in that kind of game. So he prevailed against those influences. Then at the end of the day, we all saw what happened. Then fast forward, Kyei Jabin came in, and then it has been drama upon drama upon drama upon drama. At some point in time, he did a press conference and said the government of the day know what time in hands, and I was not allowed to work. I have a basic principle. Say, ya for juma se beye. Na se nipa na offer se beye juma na say, Owusu wa no kwanya. As a principled person, what you do is to announce to the whole world, resign and go home. You don't sit at the office and draw salaries, and later you come and justify why you failed. For me, that was a no-go area, but that is the kind of the justification that he gave to the people of this country, because Akufo-Addo government did not allow him. About justification, because you walk away. That is exactly what Martin Abidu did. That is what a person of principle and higher conviction will do. You are seeking to impose your opinions on me. I'll walk away and tell you I won't do the show.
Exactly.
You understand? I will not sit here and kowtow to your dictate. And then later I'll go out to tell people, so in some TVs in America, exactly. So I was expecting him to have resigned at the time and put the government on notice. You didn't do that, but rather he was in love with the job and the goodies that were coming with it. And unfortunately for him, there hasn't been any case Kyei Jabin from day one what may lead to a successful prosecution. Me who say prosecutor from day one all that they tell you is we have recovered money, we have saved this, we have saved this SMLD by the very person who broke the lead on this particular case. Manasseh brought the details of it, which led to the subsequent investigation by other bodies, and then the issue became a national phenomenon, and we were discussing. So you later going to visit that particular issue, trying to put a monetary value on it and tell the people, say, oh, they just say, you are a joke. Yet a special prosecutor, Tam, or as a more war, Sudan, and Popping on Moko Sicila da Papi, and go to Nempa Bacachas and the Dukusike Gumini, Kikan Sembebre. I don't know the day, no issues, no, foolish case. It got to a point that says, Babia Baba Junior, we need to refer it to your friend saying Yoko, because we have a bit of your friend saying money laundering and other stuff in it. So it is outside our remit as a special prosecutor as we speak now. The Cecilia Dapa case has been rendered useless. It was a fatal case which the state could have prosecuted and ensure that we got to the at the bottom of it. Cecilia Dapa case is saying, and there are several of such cases. And for me, sitting afar and watching Kyei Jabin on the screen, I am told he's a very smart, intelligent lawyer, and Omo Wachiro Omwadie school will attest to the fact that he's indeed a very intelligent young man. But yeah, I think he has a deficiency, and that deficiency is he's emotionally overbearing, and he's unable to control his emotions, and that has overridden in the sense of reasoning. And so we see most of the press conferences, you could see clearly say, clouded with emotions instead of reasoning. And out of sheer emotions and reasoning diminish bit by bit. For instance, so since former finance minister issue by the series of press conferences I gather. If you go through NASA, what's scripted now, the chronology of events now, consistency in some which was a name in some so and that consistency is missing. And again, it has gotten to a point you see the office to settle personal scores and vet data with people they are against him.
Yeah.
Classical example, the Martin Kpebu case here. Martin has been one of the people who have been on the trenches with us, seeking to ensure, say, we protect this estate from encroachment. Any other individual, and state, be our government, be our making sure that the minor will be disadvantaged. So he has been a soldier on the trenches. I am not saying that he's above the law.
Yeah.
Or can't some or can't some you have every right to take him on.
Yeah.
But yeah, Martin Martin Kpebu alleges that you are a corrupt person sitting at the OSP office. The thing you can do is that as some now can free say you can sue him for defamation. And again, where you require him to provide further and better particulars to justify or authenticate his position, you know, common sense will tell you, say, because I'm say as a person and a alleged against you, know, your office is precluded from calling him.
The tone we allowed you to park was like even parking was a favor. So I didn't understand. You come in here, we will not allow you to go out. So I retorted that no, he has no right to curtail my rights. In any event, I'm just there to help. Right? They said come and give further information. I'm not under any investigation. I'm not a this person. So then I continued going. Then a colleague of his, another soldier, then shouted to me that next time I do that, I will see. That's what I said. Next time. So that kind of threat, the Ghanaian English. Next time you do that, you will see. In Ghanaian English, that means he will cause me some. You will see there will be consequences, even if it's not physical harm, but there will be consequences. So I turned and gave him the same answer that no, he has no right. I'm not a suspect. Even a suspect, can you do that? So I said he had no right. Then next thing I knew, he said, I'm stupid. That's what the soldier said. The soldier said, I am stupid. Oh, of course. So I turned back and told him to that he's also stupid. So we exchanged a few words. And then one of my lawyers pulled me for us to go in. We went, and then, as usual, the OSP chose to present employees. When we had made it clear at the second meeting that, look, considering that almost all of my allegations are against Kyei Jabin, who is a special prosecutor, and these are his subordinates. The subordinates can't do much about their bosses. Martin, they say do that. Can you investigate, if let's say Mr. Nyama, your this CEO? You can't investigate Mr. Nyama, much less the MD. So that's the same thing. And even before I was invited, Ghanaians had said it on various social media and private messages to me that how can OSP himself? But you know me, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I thought that as long as they can do something to accommodate that, to show independence, I'm willing to give the information. In any event, I'm almost done. I'm presenting a petition to the president for onward submission to the CJ. I have a lot of charges. As I'm talking to now, I have over 15 charges against Kyei Jabin. I'm not running away from this fight. So the least they shouldn't have even tried it. You don't try such a thing. You see, you don't try such a thing. It just tells you the very incompetency. My arrest and detention underscores the incompetence with which Kyei Jabin sat down and allowed the Furiata to run. Kyei is not up to scratch. Kyei has never been up to scratch. Because you see, how would you arrest Kpebu? When I already said it, today is 3rd December. I mentioned on 2nd of November, you can check on the key points, that I'll be presenting a petition for its removal. So such a person like me, and you know me, once I say I'm going to do this, I'll do it. So just stay clear of. Look, I don't mind the arrest, even assuming the exchanges with the soldier were illegal and so amount to something that they want to arrest. Remember in law, there's a difference between arrest and detention. The arrest is you tag the person, you are under arrest, I'm investigating you for so and so offense. So when you are done, admit the person to bail, right? Then let the investigations continue. Can you imagine? Said Ablomensa said yes, bail, but I should bring a property in my name for what? So a soldier insults me, Martin, you are stupid, and I also tell him you are stupid. That's the effect of the words. And
let us detach the office.
Yes, that I should bring property in my name. And where's the indenture? Fortunately for me, my office is just about 10 minutes from the OSP. I have indenture in the office. So when we argued, my lawyers argued for about 15, not that continuously 15. My lawyers made a plea that, look, I should be given self-recognizance bail, right? And then said, Ablomesa said, okay, he would go consult. So he stepped up. So we thought it was going to be a favorable response. So he came in about 15 minutes and said no, they would not do so. They will not vary the conditions to give self-recognizance. So then I told Mr. Marcelinus Bia, one of my lawyers who accompanied me, okay, Marcel, go to the office. I have indenture in my name. Just bring it. And my office is just, you can see, you can attest. This less than 10 meters drive to the OSP. So Marcel came, long story short. So Mr. Ablomesa asked that I be handcuffed and taken into custody, that it was too late, and that even when we brought the indenture, they would have to do verification. So practically talking about justification for exchanging words with a soldier who didn't know the right thing. He's not supposed to be performing police duties. A soldier performing police duties in the OSP. You see the verity we're talking about. Article 210 of our constitution is clear that, look, you soldiers for war and then maybe some development activities. But here you have the police, two policemen in there, and so if anything, if you think the building is under threat, anything, you use the soldiers as backup. But if you go to the OSP, the soldiers are performing front.
Just talk to people.
See, this thing have been mentioned that soldiers are taking away the work of the police. You see, it has manifested.
I think that we don't need to waste time to go through this petition. The office of the special prosecutor Nankasa, yeah, and for so be any so.
Office lemon,
Then back to your friend saying jokers Mugu electoral commissioning. Yeah, I think that you see my culture said these guys are jokers because omu nipa omu scintilla of respect for themselves, an iota of respect for themselves, and kaye niha and go be a matana petition asem. But what you do is say the very moment elections go wrong now, you tender in your resignation and you go home. And that will not be the first time. We've had instances where even more powerful people have been asked to go home. Yet the Chroma say, your friend is saying,
someone check us out and the matters a background for be and Namasia. Mr. Mon check mammy. So
yeah. So what's here, your friend is saying, Nema Akoswa, a month for resigning from a more powerful position like a way. Now, no, Yatiana UK, how many prime ministers now resign here? How many? About 3 in a succession because Niama no more in a position of Muteki no infringe on public trust, public confidence, and for that matter, they resigned and nobody put a gun to their head. But we live in a society that then Obianye ready to do those things. And then back to America, my culture said they had a time, a vice president, Spiro Agnew. Because when he was a senator in Maryland at the time, you know, he was fingered in a case of corruption. When he came up, he was forced to resign as a vice president of a powerful country in the world, America. 9 months after, the sitting president, Nixon, that was when the Watergate scandal popped up. The president was also forced to resign. So this will not be the first time. We've had instances where people have resigned from most powerful offices. So we hear how the election was conducted in 2020 and 2024, and some of the commentaries are German standing in for running will chrome her. Any decent-minded person will tender your resignation, thank the people of this country, and walk away. Because some of this petition was expected to petitions are air trying seeking to remove Germans and in microphone a bag so kaya. These things have gone through filter. And into 6 me say ye giant can the bebano and yen near marketwa. Petition na abano. 7 petition no. Let me break it down, yeah. Each brothers and sisters. Yes. You see, some of these petitions you can never survive.
Yeah.
You can, because one petition may allege about 4, 5, and now 20 allegations. Even if one goes through, you go home.
Yeah.
So one petition can allege 20 or 30 infractions. Even if one goes through, you are going home. How much more 7 different petitions? Let's say Obia alleged like 10 different allegations. So that will give you at 70. If you fall on even one, you are going home. So you don't subject yourself to this. You have not as if said there are people who minorities saying they are being hounded.
Yeah.
When they were foolishly acting in this particular country against the will of the people of this country, what did they do?
Yeah.
At the time, everything favored them. When we were very much concerned about the sanctity of our democracy and the fact that the actions and the inactions of the Electoral Commission at the time, could turn this particular country into a war zone, they never heed to any of the wise counsel that anybody said. IPAC, which has for a very long time has been some sort of a body.
Yeah.
We engage, dialogue, and seek the way forward. It was at some point in time you weaponize it wasn't anymore about dialogue.
Yeah.
It was about accepting in toy parties and toy presidential candidates and using the numbers to do elections on key issues. So the culture of having to deliberate and come into a consensus was thrown away. The Electoral Commission was dictating at the behest of their individual wishes and rather well imposing it on political party. Is the reason why when NDC dropped out of the IPAC, the Electoral Commission could not do anything to bring them back because they thought, but we were going into a very crucial election and the security of this particular country was on the line. Yeah, we sat in this country when J. Mensah deliberately on Friday cut the people of SAR from the register. Yeah. And they were denied constitutional representation for a period of 4 good years. That alone is enough ground for their removal. And if possible, they need to even go to jail for that. Yeah. Because that is a constitutional requirement. Our constitution, every Ghanaian in every nook and cranny of this country deserves a representation in the seat for the MPP. And that's exactly what he did. And subsequent to that, she could have conducted election for the people. But we sat in this country for good years. Minority, not more to China. They went for holidays, so they didn't see what has happened. So people say, you see, politics, yeah. We need to do this policy of decency. Yeah. A man of good conscience will find sense in whatever you're saying. Say, oh, I said my papa no crew. But you do not build such a castle of such nonsense in your favor. And at the end of the day, people are seeking to break down that castle. You come back and complain. Yeah. No sensible person who agree with you. So for me, I think that the petition that have been submitted to the president, they are in line with constitutional requirement, and President Mahama doesn't have a choice, because once it has been submitted to him, it is his job to forward it to the Chief Justice. They establish the prima facie or not. Yeah. At the end of the day, if they are able to establish credence, then the committee will be set up and the necessary thing will have to be done. And subsequent to that, the president will have to follow through with the dictate of the committee. And that's exactly what is going to happen in this particular country. And for me, I think that, you see, these are shameless bunch of people. On their own, they will not resign. Just like Toko no the this same individual, because what you are saying now, we electoral commissioner. Now we are sober reflection now to anywhere near my Okroma. But Machoma Free University of Ghana by Reference Boss Manasari. This is somebody from academia. This is somebody from academia. Yeah. Oba on board, you could see a certain intelligence will be brought to bear. But yeah. This is a guy who made a categorical statement there. One of the critical stakeholders in the electoral enterprise process, and the NDC, a threat to Ghana democracy. And this person sat there as a neutral arbiter and an independent person who was supervising election. Does it make sense? And J. Mensah, the belligerent posturing that they assumed, oh, Makasa Yebeya, the registration center, no, our district level, no, there, a lot of people were denied because Okonofwa to travel from a district capital to some of the villages, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I feel no better car now. When you register now, when they call hand, our district, this stop a lot of people from exercising their franchise. And I think that if you want evidence, you can go to the north and you get millions of evidence. So for me, these people have crossed the Anakwaba could be a for anything. Also in classic and these people, such uncultured beings, should not be sitting at the Electoral Commission. When issues came, very contentious issue, and people were doubting the credibility of the electoral register. What are some kind? oh register na to aba dada na kwa na enua na moa wom. Yes, this is somebody who feed from the taxpayer. This is somebody who feed from he rather uttering nonsense to the people of this country. So for me, because they did all this thing because they felt they were in a comfortable zone, because somebody brought them on board for a particular agenda, and so far as the person was in power, their tenure was safeguarded. What I say, and the 2020 elections, 2024 elections, the parliamentary elections, look at issues. One of them, and I had nano pandaya. So this pandai issue is another prima facie for the incompetence of the Electoral Commission, and several of such cases are likely to pop up. So for me, I think that nobody on his right senses in this country can sit and say the Electoral Commission is being hounded. O can say binasabi ebia watia faso kakra because we will be able to chrome her na who the conduct Electoral Commission is conduct your mama. You see, we live in a country where very reactionary, emotional people. As MC and I catch and say, "Oh, let us forgive." No, we cannot do that. For me, I think that some of these things, we need to establish the conventional red lines. Yeah, man, for who say your file say be easy. Your file say be chief justice. Enya wona na konwa, ena enya wufi akonwa. Unti metena so fa medin sem hunu. A day of reckoning, a day of accountability will come. That is the message that we need to send to people out there, so that we all be measured in our endeavor. Because President Mahama is the president of this country, but he cannot wake up a day and say, "Me na me president, they me pay me
yeah.
O yira maje, o yefeze usika na bank mafa." He cannot do that, because he is also operating as president within the limit of the law. What I say, but you cannot sit in a public office and be acting foolishly and belligerently. They were not amenable to wisdom. They were not amenable to reasoning. They were acting at the behest of their own twisted kind of emotions or whatever interest that they had at the time. This is the time for us to go through the constitutional process. I don't care what anybody says, oh, Mahama Baye, or try to, he's resetting the country. And anybody, any individual, any institution, biana, the actions or inactions, identity, the credibility and attracting the foundations of our democracy must go down. Because no single person is bigger than this country. And I'll be disappointed if President Mahama doesn't do that. Because that is what he told the people of this country. So I'm sure, now he's ready to go through everything, and nobody should sway him. The constitutional process should be allowed to go through. At the end of the day, if it is established that J. Mensah and his people are clean, they should continue to do their job. We will welcome them with the double arms. But if it happens that the actions, the inactions, in the past, threatening your democracy, the constitution can filter grounds for their removal, then they need to go home. There is no pity about some of these things, because actions must have consequences, and there is no way to go about it than to make sure that these petitions go through.
All right, Doda Watara, I don't know if I got your name correct. I think I will complain with the sound. I think it has been corrected. Ni Paku Ado. Was it your sound guy? Oh. Why it has been sorted. Tracy Spark or say okay. Oh, then I think messages in the crowd na marginal innocent submission also. Mofanchen why Blaze say yeah, read your message and fix the problem. Patrol, the problem has been fixed. Tracy say it's now okay. Kobina Ochoya or see you are not. Oh, I'm reading the comments. Also, another more.
So they can't sound on back.
Oh, but I think there was a background. President Mahama voice be enamase. And now said they are finding difficult to hear what they know. Ruby ABC or say, oh okay, it has been fixed, so don't worry. Bliss or say Ivan is a top-notch communicator. Abdul Razak or say they read comments after the show. My wife said the money number bomb charge. Noah the ark builder. But say this country doesn't just need anyone keke to lead us as a nation, but a pragmatic and decisive, competent person like Dr. Brian Champo. John Kofi or say good morning, yeah, Majo. So Beneza Mokto. So good morning, Mr. Ivan. As for you yesterday, but I'm praying that Class Media Facebook will not disappoint me. Please, I hope you are not disappointed. All right, thank you. John Kofi or say yeah, good morning, Pachoma Jewo. So Pimpina. Hey, I guy name and answer saying, say that this the shareholder means to me in Kawo TV. So OSP is like air coming out from rice cooker. It's just a useless office. The office must be investigated and jailed as well. Cause too much finance the state. All right. Yantua so na issues no endorse on yebehwe na afi yetimi make justice to all of them. Fallout from NPP revised constitution and NPP for so more assisa wo mra na Justin Kodia Frempon and Ivan who follow ya or say ade ba ko say na apathy asi wo party. Say some people felt neglected and then they've decided say review your more constitution now more the or more the old ABI executive MPs ebeka about one to participate in the upcoming flag bearership elections there, because I think that is what they are saying. Say a party now a see what party more say one of the issues more Owusu elections, you know. And at the talk to be so almost some boy yen some true for so boy say yeah ye me I no na the cause of President Mahama move no mayenka na power is transit nti enra dem ma bebre na course so launching of their new constitution. Innocent.
Yeah, I think that Justin Kodia is the perfect person to represent the state MPP woman.
Okay.
Yes, because he has demonstrated clearly how incompetent he has always been, and that is the sad state the party finds itself. So you see the mirror reflection. Yes. So almost so I am not surprised, because there be a cancer. The sad state MPP are degenerating into a na. So more biya bonus more. They should look straight into President Akufo-Addo. No one can say he did not only come to destroy Ghana, but rather he came to destroy the MPP as a tradition, from which our money to me money be. Because ever since they exited power, if you look at the state MPP go ma. What's in China, you will be aware admirer of Ghana's democracy. Clearly, you become disappointed because you might wish the MPP as an entity become more responsible, more efficient, will be led by men of higher moral integrity, conviction. But ever since they exited power, near more demonstrating nothing but incompetence, recklessness, and near unreasonableness elements, you know, are quite overriding in the things that they do. Near more for instance, when this idea was conceived of doing this top-down approach, maybe I can't be. They thought, oh, what the more anti-MPP enthusiasts. And whatever that comes up, whatever that comes up, we go for it. But President Kufuor came out and said the same thing. Is President Kufuor anti-MPP enthusiast? Kwame Pianimba, the same thing. The statement we made, he re-echoed the same thing. Said he didn't find any sense in what the MPP was doing. Makacha said, he who the gods want to destroy, they first make mad. Because this is people they are jump over Ghanaians. They think they are sitting on a certain high horses better than Obia. Yeah. So whatever they perceive to be right, you know, that should be the state of play. Nothing will convince them to slide. And consistently, you could see that the party keeps degenerating and flop into the gutters. Even in doing their job as an responsible opposition party, that is not what they are doing. Go to Parliament and see how people like Afenyo Marken has transformed the place into a comic stance where people go there and, you know, argue nothing but nonsense that infuriates Ghanaians the more. Because what watch proceedings in Parliament in quite recent now had the posturing of Afenyo Marken and his people and the debate on the topic, you know, and the kind of posturing the positions, and very often let's walk away kind of stance now. It is not something that convinces Ghanaians to forget about the excesses of the Akufo-Addo government. But rather, it is rather an extension and a modern parliament. Because you don't lose power and now zoom a set posturing, very stiff. That media and some opposition, whatever happens, I'm against. You see, you must begin to appeal to the conscience of the people of this country who gave you a technical knockout in the elections. Now, no make a platform, we say, so aren't me as somebody, when you're worried about the depreciating numbers of the MPP. Now, me say, what should I be worried?
Are you part of them?
No, why should I be worried? I appreciate that the party will be efficient, but the fact of the matter, the numbers MPP have in parliament, if they have to blame, they should go to Akufo-Addo's doorstep and ask him, because he led a historically bad governance in this country, and no outcome the winner. When they went to Kumasi and they wanted what you call, your friend is saying, the people of Way, one of the largest constituencies in Kumasi, my friend is saying, when they were asking for a road, the president sat on radio. Kwabre. He told them, when he got to the election, they to show their thumb somewhere, they decided not to vote. So if you had your friends are poor numbers in parliament, you come back and blame me. So there is no sympathy. Nobody is going to. After losing the seat in parliament, even playing opposition role, you keep losing the numbers. You keep losing the numbers. So for me, I think that we need to sit down as a country. Now you're looking through the fine lines and tease out how opposition parties are supposed to behave. Because that is not what they are that is not what they are doing. And then they put themselves up for elections. Me makacha manfo say o he nipa yo motwa hia de o he nanima animunyam kakra wom our person of high conviction value the friend say Kpebu Japan. Yes, and he is the person and MPP could have defaultly come say okay, look, the Ghana for form the party in Kpebu Japan is somebody sharply he's disconnected from all this nonsense that happened under Akufo-Addo. And he's a person who has proven to be a bit of a higher integrity as compared to the rest. I agree. I am putting him there as the new face of the MPP. For me, that may even appeal to a certain Ghanaians. But you look at the individual like Brian Champon, who was at the center of a lot of criminal activities in this country, including the Yawaso West Wagon, your friend saying a pandemonium that occasioned. You look at Bawumia, who led the most abysmal economic downturn in the history of this country, and there was a haircut and other excesses that drove this particular economy into the gutters. And who again? Kpebu Japan, who has verbally committed a lot of criminal atrocities against others. And I'm not so many people. This is a guy who has proven to be emotionally unstable. He's not predictable, and you cannot rely on him. What will go haywire at any point in time? The presidency is a very nation. You are armed with the highest authority of the state. You cannot be unpredictable. You cannot be somebody who cannot be predicted and say, "I'm your president." Now they are baba yedeng. Nibufua they are not by. And then the other guy, also can't your friend say the education minister. On my catches or no, or for Uncle Pentecost, no microphone, Uncle Preachy. Because he's not even, there is nothing about him that I can for president. And some of these things, rather identity the aura and the sanctity of the office. Because the seekers, must reflect the office. If you get to a time where any unruly character, any incompetent for anybody at all in the name of having amassed money through fair or foul means, you can say, I want to be president. You should know that country is in danger. Because the presidency is being seen in a certain light. Because in the past, he will be a fine president. But now, there is we don't attach that aura of reverence to the office anymore. Is there anybody at all can papa say I want to be president? No, I think that the MPP is an arena of comedy show in series, and I think that the outcome will come. Ghanaians will know, because the opposition job there, that is not what they are doing. Even in opposition, look at the way they're conducting themselves. Others, certain effort could have been made. Say, okay, we made a mistake, so let us try to bring them. But they will never accept that they made a mistake. Now this is my running or my to the gutters. They still say, "Now I want to apply for." And somebody was telling me, say yeah, elections today, Ghana for MPP. So they will vote. You may say you are jokers. you are a joker. Because no rational sane person will make such your friend say analysis on TV. Such analysis no natural by the what we are when you have you can say that for fun. But it's not an argument we make on TV where rational people are watching. So I think that they can continue. Ridicule. 2028 is not far. And as long as John Mahama and his government continue to deliver on the mandate and the promises that he made to the people of this country, now, Ghana are not forgetful. Yeah. And they will make sure, sir, they will reward him for that. Why you continue to do this dirty stuff in opposition? I think the best thing that will happen to them is the party leadership must be changed. The Afenyo Market, whatever he's doing, will only satisfy party food soldiers. It's just a mere party food soldier. They don't even understand the actors and the dynamics of politics. And they all appeal to food soldiers, but not reasonable minds. But in politics, you need to get the reasonable minds on your side to be able to win any election.
All right. So, good morning.
Yeah.
There was some coming mouth penalty.
Now, one of us of the come up penalty, and now maybe drew higher someone you program. The
last 2 weeks.
Yes.
There was a challenge, but I didn't see a fix it, you know. And I don't know what the
challenge. My member what you if I chop a mood for for say Bakumi did to my baby.
I was all called baby and okay, come say they are now the metana kwacha.
Is here no say jumana doso. Tia now you know obudu tot. Dada nyadi a bedru hala mama bedru e. 3 minutes kwa make massive. You have a break.
All right, so far you come here no nti no be ka bo mama me. Electoral Commission petition special prosecutor the minority say mo use special prosecutor na say abandon person obetu corruption ase. Na no a osan detainee na what the more review of constitution no atwa so maja to say na a party e party nim and you say one be involved the past executives to get involved in voting activities and many other things that they talk about.
Yeah, me that's Richard Ivan so me you woman say your friend is a many minority no ya gonna say you OSP on them more corruption no into us here to say you need the alliance here be concrete session asem na obuka sa da che o ba ya mo obuka asem ya mo mabaso so say obuka try na mo analyze na because say OSP we no ho ono afenyo na ho no ECG chrono keta session pro ya ono say ECG ye wan say ye wia e kro be ba na so ma be mu pa na obi be kasa asem no cho na OSP ne dey echo and you OSP we no ho obi akotu amena 97 million ye hwehwem oko scholarship secretariat ye wia fake documents nkofo agi hu sika OSP ti ho oti ase national service die na akonko hoyi baby look agima menu o kromu
ani o ma
V at the airport. The share crowded the abebomu ye zip line. Say any tia if you say apart from that, you know, ye tia busu be $528,000.
Yeah.
How about Kwabrania could you? And this a minority be catch you say we OSP a corruption no MWA. The all catch us and we if you are home battery. Timamu you know send a bear attack into way house of folk near you goalkeeper we all patch as a mon clear my OSP munyin free of us and our crowd was assembly Kpebu was say assembly cry me cry they are born 945 visible now on sorry for resignation letter and I say you need because you so sense munu so you are not investigating Kpebu on any corruption charges.
Exactly.
and only the mandate of your office or investigate corruption and corruption related offences that what you music abra people now what's the we invite is on the boa me ye unhwehwemu na from some member wa no your time no say one day soldier ya kasa so dey na time go fie ngosu Kpebu hokwa dem trust so Kpebu so ka tell so you stupid akwale say Kpebu you stupid also you stupid Kpebu aye ni nyina
super stupid
men fan ko fie gongosu ho say yes the Bible say obi bo asu wo ha do da wo bo akwa na otwe na ladwe left wo bia bo asu wo o twe na ladwe left
na sa nkwasi principle na ya
obi abo me ma sumo ha na ma sa dane ha dia ma na ma so asi
modam
ono so na sumo ho bombi eye patu pa get to get e ho na entina
wa na wabod
onne no ho he must be told keno foriata obi o so chi no eye keno foriata eye omo amabobo di so mo wie o man no onche wo obi a ono wo kire na adwe so wo ye corrupt no wasan so ready so oba wa ba be prove na wo kura aka no bi e court ni o judge e judge ni o court wo no de so bo na bo
na wa se
wasan so be so tena so na wo na awura de ekuro be kura ni na wanya young man bi chen nje friends samida ko no asa ba ha ba asema making strategic
asema making na so ha
teso ka wo ya do be kasa ba hat maybe tax me to be trade you tell who know be kasa try be kasa because your position is linked to the fact that kisia gabe o e dey say ofiri wa mu ni aduma e dey say ade ni nsem hunu kwa
no defend and he doesn't even know how to talk
and you know sa OSP we dey maka also and no one resign na nye fefefe ni nyina yenye dey ye move on that's all office require yenye ni papa bi amodi muntu na enwu budget ye fanko ka to ni general ya kase corruption institutions require do so do yoko shade yenke kambom some person nya ande na nya one na ya mumra ni nya yenke kambom ye hu se corruption institution di ye hu se ye ntu ase ane de so bo no ye de ekobo na we so on anti money laundry mu we so on corruption related offenses we so on human rights we dey situation no and tie say ebe boye MPP for the say and I'm so go the constitutional
review
na bitie na bia kodia besres se kodia wa adwuma ko fatu si yetu fo se general secretary kwa na ya adwuma na gidigidi be ya general secretary be ya and one was say I want to be adwuma there is no constitutional amendment ebet me prepare free Ghana for trim say ye $97 million akoto amana and into uchenyi anasa wa amend the constitution na you refi ni akoto abama entumi nsano there is no MPP constitutional amendment ebet me prepare free Ghana for trim say inflation at a point could do 54%. What's the constitution into no echina yem koto abama. There is no constitutional amendment to make prepare free Ghana for people say at a point now you told you 300 cities rage ya ma maybe ko wo your friend Aisha or ko wo yan about 300 cities kon gotombo second important mo so you told you 300 and the kufadu nipa wo nya ice water there is no constitutional there is no constitutional amendment bet me asesa the fact say Ken Ofuriata or so why born into what done you free on my and obey na papa hwe say me die ya ye ka ya yenwie say sika pudio e be na constitution na wo amend no e bet me papa mo na mo kwa akoto aba mu nyandu ba bia we si we born ni won kai we si we die 16 we si we die 30 we die 40 ye firi o da mbe kire yare e obi a we abodam we autism ana se si akura de edamua o ye friend attach ya Ghana for the motherfucker okay
mate
wo elder wo be kire o be ka campaign kire ya o si Ghana for the motherfucker baby a campaign akodu no enuti sa Ghana for no mo wie na wo nyan hu yo ya to be say ya ko 7 December ya na 1 year
yeah
that's a ka be say 2 or 3 days so one say Ghana for no dey omobufu MPP so
yeah
He say womo niya omudi fam no na nya hogoro so na mo ma be go banks bebre amendment pa ni betumi asese free nkofo tiri say no oye aduma Royal Bank oye aduma Uni Bank oye aduma Capital Bank oye aduma UT Bank oye aduma Heritage Bank oye aduma all these banks ye gu no what if you won ye aduma now so ko ye constitutional amendment ni the refi how is it going to erase that ana pedi bia so ni party no ye ka nyina anti we and we for ya no ahoro bia bronye fa Canada no ahoro na obi edu obi atem kwasi botwe young man
kete ne ma me kora me ne yepe
can you na wa kete na dia ya no process an kora we nyina so ya bere wo party na kire no ya nwu ho no mo but on beto mamu ba omi am because ba omi na nka so no nka party no ntira asa amanfrafo aba party mu o mu nim kwa kora ni ntino omo se no omo se no so awi and the party the only thing also go ba na omo ya say omo ka say ye gudo obi abeje de share se wo na omo medom UP ba che bedu ho
okay
shese and the party yes rerun wo mo
ya pandai omo headache pa yes rerun na obo ye wo but say be yom kwa campaign no already nyinami on say pani bia nimti no mo ye internal elections ono so onyo support ba omia yeah
ana omo
abeto
rerun ade aba enti Kennedy for say okay some say ba omia de bibia ba northern side a all the be wini ni nyina
yeah
enti won konkoji tumi yimbra kenne nyindam ni tipa nyina ne say be ya ba omia oni credibility wo no obi akwa konkoji tumi no aba enu ntina omatam omonyooma omode ko Supreme Court afi the technicalities say emra omo file case no kra na 21 days no apa meanwhile one kasa wa affidavit the opposition wa affidavit ade oppose plaintiff ne you know wo kire wo yindam na kire ye say Electoral Commission gazetted results on the 6th of January.
Yeah.
And the 6th of January 21 plus 6 as year 27.
27.
It is a filing case on the 25th. My mistake.
Only a mistake.
Because that say I didn't know that the governor who said your money in Koye. Now be a wouldn't so because Supreme Court. Now when your minority leader to your press conference say judiciary in yatem. What do you get the way strategy be no yan kwada dwene e na party egu a baby a wo kwa pepper yero wunyan kwa ne ye buagua no aka so be kasa wo
kangaroo court
na wasan so aba be di watem wo ye wasa akọ adwene be yu abra wo e na anu ye a wo nko ne Ghana ni lawyer ni a ye ma sa 12 o'clock by 3 o'clock la kuta results onu kwa ni Ghana ni a wo tumi ma Supreme Court to try say Friday Supreme Court for trial na wo wie ya
wasa didi o
wasa be didi o mate mi wa case e hye na ekuvado na president na tokonu na chief justice so to na assign judge no kra o te say obi ye na adwo obedi boni a na say tokonu ana na pese di boni say o say judge na nya papa dia na say tokonu na share da kofa judge onye say government bedi boni so no kra ye ntiana April year 2025 year Obuasi East returning officer the say NDC Samuel Abwaje win omotam court ka say no MPP ne win here that's after that kangaroo court ni yo another bre nye court ya o si kangaroo ya e the case another bre dey we not just NDC go on strategy ground say ga wo opportunity so be chi wo mo so Obuasi East your friend say is a woman do agiri no atena ho ni dia awo ni na wo dia ba kwa we kwa yen ka so obi eluso yesi aba na amokoto ye no ekinyu aba ho mo san gongo ye de bio nyendam oso we ni ba 3700 something ba na ni pa etu afiri kro no aye 10% of the voter population and yes mo mesen san ko bio to aba no ma we ya asem
enya asem bia ehu
ko election ya afidi adane bo achibidi eni atembidi eni akika no mbe yes because party no eni year chese sunsum bia nimbio etu na ofiri akwatia ba ya buru wani suse ya wunya hu so ya sa kasa ba hat ye na akwatia ba ye said also Ghana for film, Ghana for film. Uncle Jadi is here.
From
South Ghana for film.
And
it almost started Ghana for film, Ghana for the Yamen Chadi about Kwasa the top and die.
Monkwa Jemere.
Said you may be a mom gabon. Me, my two numb for said. So when you can claim you on the bank account to a more found got to credit on found great mistake. It's I say you can lose 2 days at Ube lusu seat na say lusu sika na sa party your friend MBB unya go do opposition na we bibia ye come there bedo
and sadly that guy is a gentleman. The way he has conducted himself,
because you see Pandana Gaza you know no original MBB ni.
Yeah,
because Pandaya traditionally NDC seat.
Yeah,
Omu wini ya till 2012 ana nyinam ebe independent candidate.
Yeah.
And so you nam say, look, see, I'm a new man, so qua, obey, Obelusu. I don't see MBB or Massam dear. Yamena ya dumba, Kufa, Chasia, Egua, Papa Penny, or her, Egua, many a dear. Says after ye can and will go visit to schedule. Okay, I know what's asking, or you to do 100 years and give you so. I don't see a year. Now the next one there also why and I no
Fabo my mo fa lithium mum
lithium me there makama sem say they must immediately rescind the decision.
Area na I van the yapon
in fact if you say nya musika mo man sha asase na se
oh
and now nya time wa sika kwa go for so be $185 million no enye sika hu bia Ghana yentumi emfa sika nko fa nko hai ise wiase be bia ye
na gold board nko ampo sika dodo se no mo de ma
the gold board kwa national service say national service
lithium
2.4 billion we say obi the $185 million ba be ship ye tu ya de
ye betu ya de
che ye nyanye ready na le bo for mo de mu nyanto ye ma lithium na duane wo ba bia edum mra nkwada no ba be nyine nya technology na yentumi say bibia sa ye mistake with petroleum and our crude ye nyemo ade babia ye mistake with our gold ye mistake with our bauxite with our manganese with our iron lithium we nyame kura na ya adoma ma nyoba bia cheche say e no kira mu say munyanto asa mo Ghana ni bia na no Ibrahim kokoje o take over Zuma yi o tuna so discard ni nam ye diso ha ga ya menim say ni nam krom ha ye dey e security ba say be ma go fo barari Abday, Sikari just gave you $185 million. Si be mungu bom. Oh, Dabi. Channel there, men support it. I will not support it today. To have it, say, Oman Benin so afraid stakeholders say, Monsan take a second look. Oman Benin Mesro, take a critical look at it. Na you make sure say Ghana for no. Today, I will lithium no so. But my proposal, they say. Ye be bia ye magana ni nyaade no
okay
ye mwa Ghana for no munya sika o betuna ye betuna register $185 million no ye akofa experts na sanga ngovo ye akofa mo no this am ye to expertise say ya na otia no mo akọ Middle East ye o ya no ya titi na we expert ya no matam sika bro ba be adwuma we man o ya say o ye mo ye twa kana ko be sa ne ye no wo ye ni special talent wa ya ma wa ji sika sort ya say na emeye Ghana for Japade na yensu ye nidim wase ne de ya na ye who say who out kwada TV so matter fire them quarter them better unsia
de ye ne mo
kwada nketu a ye ni awo mo nkosu de mutu ka kire se mo ba beje mo ma ben mafuru kwada be ya we na no ba ku bi wa juso wo he style ne ma menye bi da okay akonya
de ye no
Busa ma me for activists one more 60 years musi so metu ya
Davidson
kwada inye ye ba me for yibe wiase ye nyira kwada
tie kitchen stool kura de
kitchen stool
bi da eso akura ti me ye
na kwada ye tumi ya style na ko ye style we enye ho go but for me it is a true reflection of our state of now in the past no we are too much
no more practice no
a teacher for teaching no more try exams na nkwada o me the more vigilators o mo copy ye fi say ye ba obi na emu bi na ba be medical doctors
no wa panye
boni eduti emre bi enu wa e kire say ni so bitumi fere Exactly, and him say, "Oh, my name so be feeling to know. And you have more opportunities. I'll be to reset." So I say, "Abani say no say tenase. Near man kwada ne failure no. Omu ehu so musuade. So I say, musuade a omu kono mbom ho de ombetwa.
Yeah.
Ah, now obi a face we be there about 10 years. It's no pass here. Who is now better than him?
There be.
18 vigilation the man get tight. Me man kwada ni wi a. Me ba now me can't jam class up or akran meti. Na me boy. I don't person make class says and be a leaky. I don't want to know. But person me control with my strength.
Yeah.
Be failure be failure. Be pass am pass. And until that is it in the past near true results.
Yeah.
Obi to the sort of students they more. Obi on more common myself credit the man. So what invest with hey, the ones we know is in January. And this is the true state of our education. Now from textbooks, you know, and start going to go secondary school, young boy.
Yeah.
And starting co. Now we for so kakra ibinyano you invest wisely. So extra classes near be yaman kwada na. Me am first carry nko go twa yenum ne yenya omo. Yen fam warm. I mean I'll rather prefer say sika me be si dan me be he me ma. Munyina mbesi a. So no ma gosi. But that be share ma on no. E bia obenyina yekolo. Enye baba.
Outmoded.
Nji me so be si dan ama. And I cry ya higher was si dan cry. Me say cry yen gidie say ma be gina ba be abede omo. Because you GDS oba ebenyia yo bi papa anase teacher o man mu a wo house anya dey aman you hear no say obeboa no in this career projection say bia bakery no person o after school a wa boa no asua ho nimde na watua agina baba asa no baba be enoti results no dey for me this is what we have been saying all this while okay maybe a ore ku for the cut of pass questions no man kwara ko wi no didi o matem o didi na tem say ye feel say we na eba kwadara gini nyina yo say sa generation ratio yo bibia ye fast track fried rice yenye no fast
AI
it doesn't work like that ya bro e de mo so no mo ti asiasa na ye ni sa ya you get the best out of them na omra sunti no be de manuasi
Ivan, for lithium, no wasi no my employing.
Yeah, I think that your friends saying wasi. I've said a lot about it, and I think said there will be a second main sure say anything stranger see.
Yeah,
it's just a true reflection of state of play.
Yeah,
over the years, and I think say you're making education some sort of a political way be a tool. Politicians seek to harness political capital. And I think Samra Free SHS by there was a clearly a deliberate attempt just to monetize it in terms of political capital. Now, so the dividend out will be communicated. So yeah, the buy we the interman form to our so we adopted a lot of desperate measures.
Yeah,
the making sure we fixated on the results. And back one of the famous comments the president made, they say your friend is saying Akufo-Addo
graduates
because they had a good grade in as a forum. And Asemba Kwamam for Nkanese over the since 2020.
Yeah,
Ghana breaking away from WAEC. WAEC na ye tro ha na ye nkwan ye.
So that is it. Inti wutie nsema lawyer Martin Kpebu, Solomon Owusu. Any Ivan Ekam. Na chese edemu clear say OSP ni die. Every single individual in this country a route for the removal of the office of the special prosecutor now say Kyei Nankasa, because we see say that office in the first place useless. We see say that office it is there for agenda, because ade bi obeye any name bi ebekoso that office enya de edi ade papa bra Ghana enkofo a wadi teni omo ene nkofo a wachichi omo nyina no yehu ade nsanso papa bia omo ebi wo no nkwedi kwase kodi teni no mukai the surgeon Frimpong Boatin, Professor Frimpong Boatin, and I Dr. Mum mfanche manya ne title ni ya because title ni ya papa owura no na a minister in Akufo-Addo's government. If you actually no resign here because na niema bi koso or throw letter ediko say galamse bi koso enema bi ekoso wa aban ni mu. So for that matter, I will say omuhwehwem. Ewi akiri OSPC brana yenye hwehwemu eno ani so papa yi ba ya na okrepo no with arrest eno no de o detainee no said the Andra or ye Martin Kpebu one break papa no or involved in any corrupt activity and I say any corruption activities bia or Ghana inti abasa na ayana odwen ho awonti ase OSP said na Solomon Owusu kan on de wo ho. You are not an independent body although we see you to an institution but a president no and appoint you inti se niema nkof ya the same appointment in a president in the man he can what he can remove you at any point in time into your who say media mi ugoro kama asem no wankan yi a mehye da tetewa na mafro oba anadwo na mama detain wo ho no ma o ha ho yura wadu quality we kisi ajaben ade a wo ye ne enye substantial issues wo ho no I was in you have to talk about King Ofurata. You told all Ghanaians say King Ofurata you be a Sebiabu Sebinyado. What charging the NATO Interpol say Mumfan and Bragana. Ye mu Emma Attorney General Case or ye docket na ye chira farmer na say farmer. Meanwhile, no sana unyanye. And think I probia was a detaining na ye channel na ye investigations. And can you the office of the special prosecutor only one crop for some you are the supposed people I was in community omo edimotna na omo investigating because every single thing you're doing there it is strange and we Ghanaians don't understand the reason why we have given you the mandate to arrest, to investigate and prosecute. You are not using it. You are not using it. And oh sorry, I'm way. Meanwhile, the prime suspects, no. Meanwhile, the main targets are Kino Fratano, Adriana Cotino be my so. Wadriana Cotina a brochery. I know they won't mention, anything. And Uncle for Motiana, they have nothing to do with your what institution, Mumfanchemi. What you say. They have nothing to do with your what institution. Those are the people when you are brave. Those are the people you are calling for the arrest. You are detaining them unreasonably, and it doesn't make sense. Truly, it doesn't make sense. You are trying to say, what is more being criticized. Nobody should say anything that will go against the office. Meanwhile, what you are doing there, it is not in line with the law because your mandate is to prosecute, arrest, and investigate. And you see then, Obiba Honoma. Nipani beboa mo assist na wache no atena honom say adenyame ma kwan waka say tiame wakotena radio so why say hey kwan ahunahuna no firi hifa kise jabin that kind of ehunahuna no efiri hifa. You must be very, 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 very mindful of whatever you are doing because I was said the no a president be and do be see and president be a bit me you from at the same time, and I say in the same way you were appointed. It's immediate mean Casabi, Miss Kramika way, baby, I chose an almost 7 letter. I have a branch of social media or can send be in Tina day. But media, and any bonus what making now any say. I don't see the need for you to detain Martin Kpebu because in the first place, Martin Kpebu has not involved in any corruption activity. And I know, say, Yehu money laundry be Yehu adebi enkoya and a special prosecutor utimi money ye. But in this case, we haven't seen anything. So what are you doing to Martin Kpebu? Again and now the anyway, the comment section name Yambo solo Yura solo Solomon Owusu and Ivan me ankasa me Ivan Kyei Innocent, one of the brilliant political analysts in this country. Abrante ketwa benadwuma bobeo onimadie papa anye so onimadie no onimadie ban politics a abrante na wabin Wabin or your analysis out to one more thing sampa. This is the guy and this is the man we Ghanaians need to listen to. We Ghanaians need to what? Listen to, because he has indeed proven say he is a political analyst. And young Kofobinun to say Dr. Zelto Muhammani, and young Kofobinun to say Omamaka, they know themselves. But now tell we a political analyst. Meanwhile, they are saying what it doesn't, warrant them to say. And Jabusia for my member wins so I draw a comment section with Hanum remains your number one authentic platform, Mega TV Macro, Papa.